Youorns. Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for the youorns 10-minute take on Swansea City 0, Watford 1. Yes, Watford, at long last, 10 months in the making, almost exactly 10 months in the making. Watford finally get an away win, and it feels like forever. It was forever. The last time Watford had won a game away from home in the Championship was on January 2nd of this year, 2023. The wait is over, and it was a really long wait that culminated in a good away performance from Watford, a very solid, committed team performance by Watford last night at the SwanseaCity.com stadium as Watford put to rest that long drought. It's not the longest in their history, but it's definitely one of the longest, with a goal coming in the 82nd minute. That's right. For the second consecutive game, the winning goal for Watford, the only goal from Watford, the only goal in the game, came in the 82nd minute. And this time, King Ken Sema, enjoyed an absolute blast. And he did have a blast with the goal and with the celebration as Watford won the game against a Swansea City side that had been a couple of places above them in the table. Swansea had come in looking to bounce back from their loss at home to Leicester just a few days before. Watford looking to build on that 1-0 win against Sheffield Wednesday, but build with a better performance and a better sense of purpose. And what we saw last night in this game was this better sense of purpose from this Watford side. This men's team who have been up and down this season, who have been, very inconsistent at times and then have fallen into some really rough patches. A Watford side, a men's first team side that has issues with discipline. Obviously, TDB becomes the latest Watford player to be benched, in fact, not included on the squad for his lateness to meetings. A Watford team that is a thin squad, we all know that. A Watford team that certainly still has to come to grips with some of the things that Val's trying to do. But a Watford team, low on confidence or not, who found their way, not just in this game, but over the last couple of games. But in this particular game yesterday, Watford did look the part. They started well enough. They looked composed in defense. They looked confident. And they certainly looked like a team out there. We saw the horrors of the game against Sunderland. And since that game, when Val afterwards kept those lads in that dressing room for over an hour after the game, since then, this team has gone unbeaten. 3 consecutive games now. Watford soaked up pressure in this game against Swansea and then began to turn the screw themselves. Around midway through the first half is when things began to turn, maybe a little earlier than that in the first half. And Watford began to find patches of grass, blades of grass, space on the grass, width on the pitch, and they began to build that to a crescendo, resulting in a good chance for Watford before the break. But look, the bottom line is that Watford grew in confidence, and as they began to take over the pitch, they began to build momentum, and they began to look like the team that we were hoping for this season, a team that had some desire and passion and some endeavor. And they found a lot of commitment in this game through the likes of Jake Livermore, who was terrific in his holding defensive and midfield position. Really loved the way he recycled possession and was able to get the ball rolling. The fluidity of the midfield was a very important key to this match. Kone getting a start in place of TDB, I thought was excellent. Again, Kone his movement and his ball, his vision of the ball and his vision of the pitch were really good. He got into a couple of moments of trouble early in the game, but he overcame that, settled down, grew into the game, got comfortable, as did the rest of the Watford side overall, and began to make space and move the ball about and put the passes where they need to be put for the most part in this game. So Watford, their midfield was really good. I thought Livermore, Kayembe as well, can't forget him. I thought he had a massive impact on the game, did Kayembe, and certainly earned his stripes for a start for this coming Saturday. I like the way that Kayembe and Kone moved the ball together. I love the way that they provided energy to a midfield that looked very static on Saturday. And they seem to have a bit more imagination about their play and a lot more energy in their play. Imran Louza didn't get into this game, and nobody really missed him at all. He has not had a good last 4 or 5 games. But this Watford team last night looked like a team who actually believed in what they were doing, a team that was committed to teamwork, a team that did all the things that you want on the road in a performance like this, where Watford's away performances, not just that they hadn't won for almost 10 months, but they just were very poor on the road for many of those games during that 10-month stretch where they were winless. But yesterday, they found a way. They grew in confidence. In the first half, they managed the game well. They didn't give up any silly fouls in the game that would put them in jeopardy. No silly free kicks. They were very well organized and drilled, and a lot of that really had to do with Sierralta. Sierralta in that back four, because Ryan Porteous was suspended for the game for the yellow card accumulation. Sierralta was very comfortable where he is best, which is in that central defensive pairing in that back four. Jeremy Ngakia showed you a lot of inventiveness and imagination. Good decision-making from Mr. Ngakia last night. I thought that he was terrific 2 games in a row. In fact, the last couple of games, last 3 or 4 games, I think Ngakia has been very good. Back to the Cardiff game, I think he's been very good. He's been very solid, and he's going to get that start, I'm sure, again on Saturday, obviously, because Ryan Andrews is out and for the 4-match ban, but also because Ngakia is actually playing well, and that's really good. And I've said Jeremy Ngakia really needs to show and prove this season, because, of course, I think this is the last chance saloon for him. And this is the season he has to really show what he can do. And there is a player there, and he's got all the ability, and he's got all the skill, and he's just got to put it together. And I think he's beginning to do that under Val Ismail now. He's had a lot of injuries. He's had a lot of ups and downs, but I think he's beginning to find some consistency here, as is this Watford team, who've now gone, as I said, 3 unbeaten. Now, the other thing is, you've got to look at the way that the rest of this team began to build in the second half. They grew into the game. They took over the game at halftime. They had 3 shots on target to Swansea's 1. And by the end of this game, they had a total of 12 shots. I think 9 of those 12 were on target to Swansea's 9, which 5 or 6 of which were on target. So Watford controlled things there. They troubled the goalkeeper, which you really can't say very much for a Watford side away from home, or sometimes even at home. This Watford side stuck to their task, grew in confidence. Second half, I thought that they continued to do that. Ken Sema came on the pitch for an ineffective, it should be said, Matthias Martins. And you had some other changes in the lineup, and those helped. Georgie again injected some life and energy into this, and Asprilla came in as well. And Asprilla provided the key ball in this game in the 82nd minute, of course, just like he scored in the 82nd minute the other day. And Asprilla really has a good eye for a good pass. He knows how to do that well. He's a good technician. He is a forward thinker. He is a very progressive type of player. And he showed you again yesterday that he has that ability and skill to pick out a pass and really put it on a plate. Really good ball across the field from him to Ken Sema, who gathered, took a touch or two, and then squared it up and just unleashed a corker of a shot into the top right-hand corner of the goalkeeper's net. It was a really superb strike, smashed the back of the net off, really, it seemed. And Watford got their just rewards and got that 1-0 victory. So for the fans who traveled, the Watford fans all the way to South Wales, well done. Congratulations on the win, of course. And I'm sure that you had a good time at SwanseaCity.com Stadium, and safe travels back, of course. That was a very satisfying Watford victory. The performance infinitely better than what we saw on Saturday. But this Watford side can continue to build on this, believing in each other. I thought Bayo had a very good game, making space, making the runs, linking up the play. His build-up play continues to be really good as always. Working really hard for the team, this man. There's no reason anyone should have fault with Vikun Bayo. He should have scored in this game. and he is the leading goal scorer for Watford. And there's no question he should have had a goal here. Headed the ball down, hoping to head it down and over the goalkeeper when he could have gone left or right. But look, Bio, again, stupendous work from him. Rajovic showed you some flashes. But the bottom line is that all of these players worked for each other last night in the game. And the game management was, I think, some of the best game management that I've seen from this team, certainly away from home in a long time. But overall, I thought they were sensible. There was no issue with discipline on the pitch, no issue with that. I thought that everything looked good. Yes, it took them time to build into this game last night, and it was only around 15 minutes or so in that they began to start to feel the game and get comfortable with it, to get to grips with it, to move into the game, to feel the flow of the game, the rhythm of the game, and then set out their stall and build and do what they were doing. So I was delighted with the performance, very pleased about the win, of course, and Watford continue to build. Let's hope that this Watford men's team continues this consistency. 3 wins we're looking for now. Hopefully, if we get that against a very tricky and troublesome Millwall side, but it's 3 unbeaten so far for the Golden Boys. Let's try to make it 4 on Saturday. This has been the YouOrns 10-minute take.